Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're coming to you with another episode sponsored by our sponsor, Gray Fox Games.
We have so much weather and sports to talk about. I don't know how we can talk about it. I don't think we have time for news or Kickstarters today.
or even board games or
No. Sports and weather.
It's sports on the fives, weather's on the zeros.
Yeah. And that's the seconds. 5 seconds. Every 5. Yeah.
We're just going to bounce back and forth between weather and sports like a deranged Roomba in a small hallway.
Snow. Broncos. It's way too hot.
Yep.
Tom Brady on the Buccaneers.
But then we're done.
That's the entirety of my sports and weather knowledge right now. So
it would be a nice 15-second podcast.
Yeah. Record time.
No. So we will start this board gaming podcast where we always do, which is with board games that we have been playing recently.
As always and forever, that's what we always did.
Once we made the change, it applied retroactively. That's how
Zach went back
podcasts
and edited
work, right?
the other 175 episodes, so they would have board games in the front. That's,
you know me. I love doing that, all that extra work.
Yes,
bare
maximum.
Yes.
There's your episode title.
Sure. So, Jeff, what about you? What have you been playing? It's been 2 weeks since we recorded an episode. What games have you played in that time?
Oh boy, I've bought so many games. I ended up buying the last Arkham Horror expansion, and then I got the new Arkham Horror expansion.
That thing fucking barely fits in the box.
I have not attempted to re-box anything, or actually I haven't even punched any. I took the shrink wrap off, took the box covers off, looked at it, put the box cover back on, put it into the pile. But my base copy of Arkham Horror 3rd Edition is sleeved, and I've come to discover that Asmodee has removed the Fantasy Flight sleeves from their lineup, and it's now the Gamegenic sleeves, which apparently people have said online are just different enough to annoy the absolute shit out of you.
Understandable.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Well, here's what you do is that I know Wes was looking for those sleeves. You give him those sleeves, and then he buys an appropriate amount of the Game Genie ones and gives them to you, and then you just buy
Gamegenic. We're not talking about NES cheat emulators here.
You don't know that. You haven't seen them. Have you tried sticking an NES cartridge into them?
I haven't. So I cannot definitively say.
Ergo, I'm right.
But I feel I have to give them to Wes at like scalper prices, because I'm sure that's what Fantasy Flight sleeves are priced at this point.
Oh yeah. You're just like it's $1 sleeve, Wes. Just
sorry, Wes. I guess we're both just gonna have. We're just going to have to throw all of our sleeves away to replace them. There's no way we can come to a solution.
Nope.
I also picked up the Fallout Atomic Bonds expansion. That is the expansion that turns the base game into a co-op game. That everyone's huge complaint, of course, was why is this game competitive? That they put in a scenario that was cooperative in their like small box expansion that came out, and now there's like a whole co-op thing that I look forward to, because we got handed a review copy of that a while ago. As well as a giveaway copy.
Yes.
But this will be a nice way to play through the old system, the kind of patch system, and then the whole 1.5 replacement system, and kind of give it a full, rub down of radiation.
Mm.
The super mutant massage. But I did actually play some board games, and Zach and I played this one together after a Was this just a day of Forgotten Waters, right? It was a
Yes, so it was the Sunday where we normally would have played Kingdom Death, but then Thursby and Eric, like they couldn't come, so we weren't planning on doing it. And then we decided, hey, why don't we try this game out? And we got Wes to join us.
Yes. So Forgotten Waters is Plaid Hat. It is a Crossroads game, and it doesn't suck. Unlike the last couple Crossroads game attempts.
Yeah.
It's a pirate game. It starts pretty interestingly low. Let's say reality is where it starts. And then it slowly goes off the rails.
Getting sillier and...
Yeah. It is a very humorous game. The writing in it is very good.
Yes. It's definitely been one of the funniest games that I've seen in terms of, like, that have actual, like, story, like, sections in it.
Yes. There's 5 scenarios. We played the first scenario, and your crew members, like officers on a pirate ship, and you all have different roles. Like, some are very basic. Like, I did the supplies. It's just moving the supply tracker token up and down. It's not really a role, I guess.
Well, specifically, like the biggest thing on them are certain events will ask for, hey, who is the
yes.
supplier or whatever they actually call it in there, or who's the first mate and stuff like that. So you have different roles. Mm-hmm. There are 7 different roles because you can play up to 7 people with this game. But if you play with less than that, you just give the roles out to different players.
Yes. The first way the way it starts is it has a huge booklet of pirates. There are all these paper character sheets, and they're all apparently unique. Zach, you're the only one that really looked at them, but
yes, they're all unique. They all have their own stories. They are like themed differently. So, like when we played, Thursby was a assassin pirate. I was a seeker pirate.
Wes.
You were
not Thursby.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought Wes. I don't remember. Okay.
Because Thursby didn't play with us because.
Not
make
Thursday.
It
was Wes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. You're right. But Wes was sitting next to me, so I just in my mind was
that's
that
where.
Was
yes, that is where Thursby normally sits.
Yeah. Wes was a assassin pirate. Paul was. I forget what they were, but they're all themed around different things, and then and it's Mad Lib style. You answer a couple questions. It'll be like, name a fruit, put in a random number,
name a famous person or a friend.
Yes.
And it's all very anachronistic, so it's interesting that way.
Yeah. And then then you read off your story, and then you use the Mad Lib to actually, fill that in, and then...
The old lobster bisque and the wooden peg leg trick.
And what was I? I was a boat-to-boat sword salesman.
Because your character had, like, the swords... under his cloak, like a salesman. Your standee just so happened to have that. So then you kind of start out on this adventure. There's a map that's preset by the scenario, and then you just sort of draw tiles, and then you can choose where to go. Then each tile has, like, there's this huge book. Well, not huge book, but it has, like, 50-some pages in it. It's got one half of it's, like, a big full-cover art of like what's happening. It's your calm seas, your stormy seas, your boarding action, your on the high seas fight against the frigate, and then the other half is where the actual game is, because it's all app driven. You're going to these various locations that is timed, that you're putting your standee on, and it'll tell you like what kind of skill it's gonna use or what your reward is not super clear, but like, hey, I'm going to go maintain the boat. You can kind of think when you're at dock, like, hey, maybe you're going to repair the hull or get supplies or something. And then there's a couple in there that are critical that like someone has to do at certain player counts. We were at a low enough player count where like the feed the crew was just always went to whoever was lowest on wasn't prestige.
Infamy,
yes.
So like pirate prestige.
Yes, the pirate prestige. And that's where you'd have to feed using your supplies, and these different scenarios would have you go to different paragraphs, pages numbered things you would put into the app, and the app would have it, and then you would read it out loud. The app is also fully voiced, so you can do that. Also, it has what I very much enjoyed was the soundtrack, because like if you were doing a battle on the high seas, it would have like a ship battle and cannons and clanging swords going off in the background. Or if you were on stormy seas, you'd hear like the lightning and crashing waves. The ambiance was also very, very good. The scenario was interesting. But you sort of just went to point A to point B to point C.
Yeah.
And then it was over. But that still took, like, how long did we play? Like 4 or 5 hours?
No, it was like 3.5.
3.5?
Or so.
Okay.
Yeah. It does give you a very clear stopping point if you want to stop, like, halfway through. So you can just be like, oh, I'm going to play for an hour and a half or so, and then you do that, and then you stop, and then you start up again on the next one. But
it's not Arabian Nights. There's a point to playing this game.
Yes.
Besides just enjoying the craziness.
Right.
All of your pirates on their unique sheet has a constellation. As you fill in different stats on your card, you get to fill in those constellations. When you get the little exclamation points, you get to get another unique story bit to your pirate's history, which can be have various rewards. My guy was like the I don't know, he stole shit.
Yes.
He was the scoundrel.
Grifter pirate.
Grifter pirate, yes. And so I kept stealing stuff from everyone else just through my story events. Be like, that dog, your dog? It's my dog now. And the dog was actually a very good item.
Yes, it was.
It was, and you need to get enough of those constellations or you get like a bad ending for your character at the end of the scenario.
So then you have the drive of, do you want to do something to help the story, or do you want to have something to help your story?
Yes.
And there are definitely times where it was like doing something because you need the symbol. And people are like, what the fuck are you doing? You're like, look, I just gotta move my own shit along. Sorry, guys.
Yes. But then there is some critical loss points where, like, if your crew gets enough disgruntled or something like that.
Yeah.
Versus where their like happiness, or no, their disgruntled number meets the like how many crew members there are token.
Yeah. Then basically they mutiny and you lose. Or if your crew go down to 0, you don't have anybody left. If your hull gets down to 0, your ship sinks. And then there are a couple other things that if you failed, then there's a timer in the game, more or less, of at the beginning of each round you draw this token, and then it checks to see if you are above or you're equal to or above this limit of tokens that you have, and every time you are
threat tokens,
then you read a passage, and then you mark it off, and then after you read the passage for like the 5th time, you lose. So you at least know that that's coming, that you get 1 token a turn, so you're like, oh, we have like 3 turns left or whatever. But it's good that it doesn't just stop you from just like circling around until everybody has their legendary story.
Yeah, we did take a little time to do that, and then went to the end. But some extremely funny things happened in it, and I don't want to ruin it.
No.
But it was like, you'll come up to a scenario, and then you get to see what happens later as well. So it's not just a one-time thing. Things will keep popping up, and I think the app does a really great job at kind of making those threads continue through your story.
Yeah, and I think it shows a good evolution of the Crossroads system, because for one, you have stuff like that where we saw something, and then later on we saw the same thing again, and they're like, it had a continuation of that side story, which was really entertaining to see.
Yes.
But then also, the worst thing about the Crossroads system, to me at least, is when we were playing Dead of Winter, you draw a card, and then you wait to see if whatever is supposed to happen on that card happens, and then if it doesn't, you just sort of sigh and you put it back down, right?
Because it never happens.
Yeah, because
it's the rare occasion.
Yeah. This one, you don't, it has events that happen, but then it also has crossroad events that happen if, for whatever reason, it like certain things appear. But because you don't know that you're missing out on those, you instead get like you look at the app and you're like, oh shit, we have a Crossroads event versus seeing a Crossroads that you know isn't going to happen. So you get the surprise of it versus the disappointment of not doing it.
Yes. And they were always pretty good. Everything so far has been great. And then it seems like the end of and definitely play the first scenario. It is supposedly the tutorial scenario, but it is a full-on scenario, and I think it sets up the world for the rest of the scenarios, because I think it's going to turn into a more of a Sea of Thieves type situation with weird creatures and skeletons and crazy fantasy stuff, and that wasn't so much in the first scenario.
Yeah, and it looks like the entries are going to be unique to each scenario that you're doing. So like the main sheet, when you're doing like the captain's mission, it's saying, mark off the same entries, but depending on which scenario you're doing, you're going to get different stories from there too. So doing a different scenario is going to be like an entirely new game, it seems. Yes. Versus like when you do like Arabian Nights and stuff like that, you still see some of the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
So now I would be curious to see what it would be like to play the first one again, because the main beats, I have a feeling they're going to be the exact same each time.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be some of the things we see off on the side that would be different. But
yeah, most likely. But even the main mission stuff was not like the most interesting.
Yeah.
It was definitely that side stuff that made the game like better.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Forgotten Waters, real good. Highly recommend.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
Right on. I definitely want to check it out at some point. I'm not sure how much it will appeal to me personally, but I'm interested.
It's not a bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it, besides our special spots after the banter. So
there you go.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Jeff, do you have any others? But sounds like no.
Negativo.
For myself, I played another game of Pandemic Legacy with Megan. I think we just finished September, so we have 3 months left. So we're in the home stretch. It's getting really hard this late in the game to talk about it very much without like just massive spoilers. But yeah, another big reveal in this one that kind of showed that the character Megan had been playing for the last 3 sessions, and like what she was doing with that character was not the best. It was a bad plan, and now we gotta go clean up that mess. Just to
I have
really
a feeling
vague.
I know knowledge of what that might be.
I think most of us do that have played the game.
Yeah, if you played the game, you definitely do. It's one of the big reveals in the latter chunk of the game. And yeah, Megan was like, "What the shit? Why didn't you tell me?" And I was like, "Because like that would have ruined it. Like, of course I would have let you experience that. Shut up.
You want to min-max your game? You want to be Paul? You want to be Paul?"
We're still overall doing very well. Speaking of min-maxing, I think we've only lost 2 games so far, which compared to how our game went on the show, like that one, we lost significantly more. So we're doing really good in that regard. However, I think we now have 2 fallen cities that are not isolated and like at least 1 more collapsing. So that part of it is rapidly getting away from us.
Yeah, look, we had just the 1 fallen city, and we isolated the shit out of that super quick.
I think we ended up with 2. I think because I was looking at the board the other day, and I think we ended up with 2. But one of them was, we just decided not to ever talk about Istanbul again.
That's true.
The entire world collectively agreed to forget that Istanbul had ever existed.
Is it what Istanbul? Yeah.
Yeah, one of the oldest cities.
No, you're thinking of Constantinople. That's what you're thinking of.
Yeah, that fell way back. But yeah, so Sydney and I think it's Seoul are our 2 that are, or no, Beijing. Sydney and Beijing are just, they're gone. So yeah, still enjoying it. Still excited to finish it out. We'll probably play it maybe to Wednesday. Because Megan is backpacking right now. She won't be back till sometime on Tuesday. But we both have Wednesday off, and that's usually when we try to play, is when we both have a day off. We try to make some time and jump on for a couple hours. So, yeah, hopefully we'll get another game in then. We'll see. Other than that, we haven't played anything besides video games. So I'll talk about those later. Zach, what about you? What have you been playing?
Basically just Forgotten Waters. I went on a trip recently, and so I was playing some apps, board game apps while I was on the plane and whatnot. Did Gons again, and because they have two different challenges on it, I had completely forgotten the meta of the first challenge of like what you need to do, because there's like one specific like set of dice for each color.
Is it an H? Is it an I? I don't remember what the yellow was at this point.
Well, not just that too, but it's like you need to get to this green, and you need to get to this orange, and you need to get to this purple.
All the blue has to be filled out.
Yep. And I got to, I finally remembered it again, and I think I got to actually I played it on my phone and on my iPad, and I got to 34th, tied with both of them. With 324, 325, I forget which one.
Yeah, I think that's one of my highest scores, 325 maybe?
Yeah, but then I switched to the second challenge, and fuck me if I remember how to min-max that one, because that one added more stuff that I remember when I was playing. I was like, oh, I got to figure out a new way to do it, and I have forgotten all of that. I'm just going super high on all these other ones, and I keep fucking up on yellow, and I was just, god damn it.
That one has the alternating positive negative track. Yeah.
And then I played a little bit of Galaxy Trucker on my iPad. I forgot it had a campaign, so I was doing that for a little bit.
Yeah, neat.
It was nice, just
What does the campaign do in the app?
It's basically, it has routes for you to take, and with certain constraints. It's like you talk to somebody in a spaceport, and they're like, hey, can you send this person this shit? So let's say you're like, oh, here I have some fragile cargo.
That's one big pile of shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
I also watched Jurassic Park this weekend, so.
Great decision. But it's fragile cargo, and then you put it, and it's in your saved slots. But it's if anything breaks around it, that also breaks. So you have to make it super secure, or it's you need to send an alien, and so you have to make sure you have the right life support for it and stuff like that. But it's humorous, but it's just a reason. It's just giving you random reasons to do the different routes. A game of Galaxy Trucker. So yeah. But otherwise, that's about it.
Cool. Well, then that wraps up what we've been playing, and we can move on to some bantery banters.
Sports, weather.
Yeah. So brief weather update. Denver area, since our last recording, had its first snow in very, very early September.
Yes.
It was kind of amazing.
Yeah, it was gone by the midday, I would say, but there was a decent amount of accumulation. My normal commute up to Boulder, the roads were totally clear because the roads had been at least 100 degrees for, I don't know, what's all summer?
And a fucking week before.
Yeah, for the entire week.
Yep.
And so nothing was on the roads. The roads were totally clear. But all the trees and stuff looked very nice until all the weight of the snow snapped the branches and cut power to people's places.
Yeah.
Which is what happens with these late summer snows. I did see a lot of down branches.
Yeah.
One branch is still there in Boulder. Every day I see it. Hey, there it is.
It knocked a pretty good-sized branch off of our rapidly dying cottonwood that is apparently at the end of its lifespan, and we need to spend thousands of dollars to get removed.
Hooray!
Before it falls on our neighbor's house. But hey, then homeowners insurance takes care of it, right?
Yeah,
so we shouldn't worry about it.
That's way cheaper, short term.
Yeah. 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 But no, it was nice. Jester loved getting a little bit of early snow. For me, it was definitely one of those this makes me want to go wax my snowboard and get ready for the season. And then I remembered that it's COVID and the season's going to be fucking hot garbage. So
no one lowered their prices at all. They're still paying $700, $900, $360 for just Keystone.
Yeah, just Keystone is fucking stupidly
with
expensive.
reserve
They gave
parking that you might not even be able to go up because all the parking is full.
Yeah.
And but here, pay the regular price. I think. Yeah. I hope they get a desperation point where it's like, no, we're fucked. I hope they're fucked.
I mean, like, and at least like Epic has a vague plan. Like Epic sent out like credits. I got like almost a $200 credit. Not the brewery.
Yes.
Epic, Epic Resorts, Vail Resorts, who runs like the Epic Pass that Keystone and a lot of those are on.
Yes.
But fucking the other guys, the Icon, they either have the full Icon at like nearly, I think it was like nearly $2,000, or nothing.
Fucking
like
nuts.
There's just fucking nothing.
I thought there was like a 700. Or no, you know what I'm thinking? Epic Local. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, which they don't have. Like, so it's either pay ridiculous individual resort prices, which Steamboat Springs is also like well over $1,000
a day if you just want a day pass, right?
Yeah, and well over $1,000 for a season pass. Megan and I we got season passes to Bluebird Backcountry, which is like a new-ish resort that has no lift lines. It's all boot pack, and they're only selling like 500 season passes, and they're limiting them out to like 200 a day, which is weird because the season pass says it gets you like guaranteed access. So I don't know how guaranteed access works if they're only letting 200 people a day, but there's 500 people with passes.
What is boot packing?
So boot pack is basically like it's just a trail packed in the snow that you hike up in your boots. So you carry your board and all your gear up the mountain.
This would be the equivalent of skinning with skis.
You could skin up, but there are skiers who also like hike up boot pack. Like they just take their skis off and throw them on their shoulder and trudge up. Usually like.
So you go down once and then you have to walk back up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you have to walk up and then go down once? Or
yes. So you walk up, you go down, and then you walk up and you go down. So for every go down, there's at least one walk up.
I feel that would take a while, or are these runs not like crazy long?
No, so these should be fair. So they moved to a bigger mountain this year. They were at a smaller mountain last year. They moved because they don't have any like real facilities, so they can just fucking move like that. So They found a new bit of
There's
private
no restaurants or bars or whatever.
No, they have got some portable like tents and sheds and stuff. Like they're gonna have some warming huts this year, and like they had plans to have like a communal gathering area, but then COVID was kind of like fuck communal gathering
for
at least 365
I
days
dare
a year. The big draw to this is it's Bluebird Backcountry. And it's supposed to be like an introduction to backcountry riding. So there's no groomer, nothing's groomed. So it's all deep, fresh powder or moderately tracked out powder. But with only 200 people a day on a whole mountain, I'm hoping it won't track out too bad on any given day. They're also open weirdly just Thursday through Monday, which is kind of frustrating because I'm off Wednesday through Friday. So like I'll only get 2 of my 3 days I can go ride there. I'm just kind of fucked on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
But especially because fucking game night's not coming back anytime soon. So,
nope.
But yeah, we were gonna get in on Silverton, their season pass, because their season pass at one point we missed it. They knocked theirs down for a while, was only $99, and it included one free helicopter run.
Oh, Jesus.
So it was like fucking shit. Yeah, that's just worth it no matter what.
Hella skiing.
We're still planning a trip down there, especially because Bluebird Backcountry is going to close at the end of March. So we might try and do like either a late spring at Silverton, depending on what the snow looks like. Their snow gets a lot shittier later in the year. They're good early. Or we might try and do another one like we did this past year for my birthday, where we had went and did 2 heli runs and got to ride some nice stuff. So, but that's another one of those mountains that like their lift is a 2-person lift. So like I don't have to worry about riding the lift with literally anyone but Megan. They don't allow a lot of people on the mountain normally, let alone during COVID times. And so you stay pretty distanced. We probably won't do any heli runs during COVID because a helicopter's a small space to be crammed in with a bunch of people who are breathing hard after riding.
Nah, just rent it out with 2 people, man.
I can't imagine that that's an option. But if that proves to be an option, if And it would be a minimum of 4 because it would be the pilot, the guide, and Megan and I. But at that point, I might risk it with 4 people. We'll see. But yeah, so those are the vague winter plans. That the snowstorm earlier got us, Megan and I, all excited and thinking about, and all the deadlines passed for like ski stuff. Like we were sitting there with our like $189 Epic Resort Vail Resorts like discount from last year, and it was like, well, this makes the $700 Keystone Pass only $500. Do we want to do that?
No.
And we already opted not to do the condo.
Condo's not happening either way.
Yeah, Ant had kind of felt it out, and we said no pretty early on. And then Ant, last time we talked to him, he said he had decided just not to do it at all because of COVID, and he didn't want to take the risk. But
condo.
Somebody else in the group might run it for a season or something. We'll see. Hopefully we'll be able to get that same condo maybe next year. Like if whoever gets it doesn't renew it, or depending on what happens. I mean, I don't know how many people are reserving condos this year. It's a lot harder to split a group with 10 people in a small condo.
Like 15 people.
Yeah. Well, depending on how much everybody's willing to pay. Maybe a wealthier group of friends is willing to pay $400 a person a month.
Yes.
I don't know. We'll see. That's all problems for over a year from now.
Yeah.
For now, I'll be happy if I get a ski like a half dozen times, to be honest.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah. Sports-wise, the Broncos fucking suck. Mostly because the Broncos have been just devastated by injuries.
Everyone
as have several
has,
other
right?
teams.
That's like a whole thing right now.
The Giants are fucked. The 49ers are fucked.
49ers had like 4 or 5 major injuries in one game.
Yeah. I mean, Broncos had 3 major injuries in their last game, and they had 2 in the game before that, and several before the season ever started. We've got like 4 offensive starters who are potentially out for like a very long time. Von Miller was like, he got hurt really bad before the season. He was like, yeah, they told me 6 to 8 weeks. I'm shooting for 6 weeks or something like that, or whatever. He's like, yeah, so I'll come back in December if it looks like we're in playoff contention. And then the first 2 games of the season happen, and it's like, no, Vaughn, just take the whole fucking year, man. Don't risk it. Don't come back early from an injury. We're not going to be in contention for anything besides maybe first draft pick. But yeah, so my football season started and ended between 2 podcast episodes.
Seems about right.
Yay!
Yeah. Apparently the Nuggets had a really bad loss too. Everybody was talking about it at work today. Everybody was really upset about the Nuggets.
They came back from like down 3 games or something like that.
I don't know.
And then probably lost, I would assume.
Yeah.
They
lost to the Lakers. I think they have to win their next game or the Lakers will have swept them.
Yes. Because it's best of 3?
I think. Well, best of 5. So first to 3.
Oh, I see. Yes. Not best of 7.
Correct.
Yes.
Which would be
4.
Race to 5.
Yeah. But they're down 2 games. That's why.
So yeah, that's mostly my banter. I've been playing a lot of video games. We've all been playing a lot of Among Us.
Yes.
Yeah, just a bunch of it. I kind of missed out on playing it the other day. But Chris from Boards and Swords, I was drawing a total blank there. Put up an awesome video.
Dirtbag Chris
I
of Patreon fame.
Yes, Dirtbag Chris, both on Patreon and Slack, who has his own show, Boards and Swords, that does all kinds of board games and RPGs and a little bit of everything in between. He did a video that he edited together of a bunch of plays that we were all involved in. So if you want to see Thursby like routinely self-report and then immediately get voted out because of it and shit like that, and it's great because there are times sometimes when you're playing, you're so focused on what you're going to do or trying to do, or maybe you've got your map up while you're running around, you don't see something that happens right next to you. But when you've recorded it all and and you're watching somebody else play and you're not focused on, what am I going to go do? You see everything that happens around. It's like, oh yeah, there's where you ran right into a room where the murderer was still standing very clearly over the body of their victim.
You saw the blood. You would have seen the blood spray.
Yes. Yeah, you saw them kill, but you just weren't paying attention.
Yep.
Yeah. There were two different ones in the video of like where we were playing where we had the full 10 and we were playing with two of the imposters. And they executed double kills, and then like a random third person just walked over, like, oh, there's a lot of bodies here.
Yeah, I think that was me and you, Adrian.
One of them definitely was in the electrical room. The other one was Chris and I think Paul in like the navigation center of a different map. But yeah, the one in the electrical center was definitely me and you. We were like, there was like 5 people, and we're like, wait. And it seemed like everybody was running away. And so we were like, kill the last 2. And then somebody doubled back. They're like, oh, wait, no, I have another thing to do there. Oh,
Ruh-roh.
Hi, Adrian.
Yep.
You're standing over a body, sir.
I think they didn't see who the other person was, and that's how I got away with it.
Yeah, you amazingly got out of that one scot-free. I think you were up behind the racks.
I think it was a move of let's throw Adrian under the bus so I have a chance.
Oh, and I was 100%. I think we ended up still winning that match. So 100% worth it.
I've definitely had some real close calls. For anyone that doesn't know what Among Us is, it's a game that's at least 2 years old, and it's basically a social deception video game where it's super short. People are imposters. They have to kill everyone else. It's similar to Werewolf, but without the roles. But you have various mini games that the crewmates are trying to do. If they get all the mini games done, they win. And if the imposter kills everyone or launches them out a tube into lava or air or space,
yeah, depending on the map.
Then they will win. So most of the time it comes down to everyone being killed or voting the imposter out. So, but it is extremely fun. It is free on mobile. It is $5 on PC.
And 100% worth that.
And definitely worth it. Zach joined us from Georgia via iPad. I think that was the first. Was that the first time you'd played, Zach?
It was the second time. It was like the second day of me playing, but it was, the first time trying to grapple with the iPad controls, which are like, those virtual joystick things.
Yeah.
But what was funny is that the first game that we played, where I was trying to get the hang of it, I was an imposter, and and then like I was walking in a group of like 4 people, and then somebody died. And then they're like, and then immediately got reported. And they're like, I just fucking watched Zach do all this. And I was just like, I might have hit the button. I don't know. Because I was trying to figure out the controls on these. And so it was the good old standard. Everybody voted for Zach, including myself.
Yep.
But it turned out that it wasn't me that killed it. It was the other imposter. And so because of that, they were able to, it was Leander, and he was able to stay under the radar until the very end, and then we ended up winning because of it.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, sometimes when you throw the other imposter off the, under the bus immediately, it gives you a lot of cred. So.
Right.
I don't think I've seen any games with 3 imposters.
No, it's an option.
It's a 10-player max, but if you played with 3 imposters, that would be like nigh impossible.
Think of it this way: is technically, if you got like a triple kill in the beginning, 1 wrong vote, and then they win.
Yeah,
it's just like if you play with 7 people, if you do 2 imposters, that can get like if they each kill somebody and then 1 wrong vote, they win as well. So
yeah. The only way I can think that would work is if you turn down the tasks to something impossibly easy.
Yes.
Like
so
each person gets 1 short or something like that.
Right. So they aren't able to like do. They have to be real fucking quick on it.
Yes.
I think it would have to be like too short, or you'd have to turn down the kill timer a lot so that it's like, 5 people. What would it be? 7 people race to do 1 short, but the bad guys have like a 10-second cooldown on their kill, so like they could kill and then try and kill again real fast before the. I don't know, because it'd be tough to balance. I guess you'd have to wait, because ghosts would have to respawn and do their task depending on how quickly you pulled off the triple kill.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. Especially if they pulled off the triple kill, because then it would be 4 on 3, right? Mm-hmm. And so, like, it'd be really easy for the 3 to, like, throw suspicion at one of the innocents and get them killed like right away in that first. If they pulled off the triple kill with nobody, sounding the alarm before then. But I don't know. I'd try it once if we had a full 10.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, Among Us, it's a lot of fun. I'm sure everyone knew that already.
it's all that anybody's talking about on Boardgame Twitter lately.
Yes. Besides that, who was talking about things? Zach was talking about things.
We were just kind of going all willy-nilly.
He was talking about apps, George's.
Yes.
Well, I'd been talking about what I was like the video games.
Video
I've been
games. Hades came out.
Officially came out, yeah. And
Yes.
it came
What
out on the
is
Switch
Hades?
too.
It's
a
a
Because I saw you
roguelike.
guys both mention it. So okay,
Do you remember-
because you mentioned it in context of somebody asking about Slay the Spire.
Which is
And
a
so-
roguelike.
Yes.
But it's
Yes.
yeah.
So it's
But it's
not
a
a
roguelike.
deck building roguelike.
No.
No.
It's
Okay.
not. Yes.
Did you ever play
it's-
Bastion or
Yes.
Pyre or?
Also yes.
It's from those guys.
Okay.
So it is extremely pretty and great voice acting and very well made. And 1.0 just came out, and it's about the son of Hades getting out of the Greek hell and
Getting the help from the gods too.
getting help from all the rest of the Olympian gods with various weapons that are interesting, and then all of those various god powers can combo together in very weird ways. I think there's 9 different gods, 9 or 10.
Yes, and then you can get, if you have each of the gods, their powers have trees. So as you get deeper in some of them, you get access to other powers that include legendary powers, and then there's also duo powers that if you have certain of one and certain of another, then you're gonna get a duo that combines both of them.
Like an Artemis and Zeus, you're shooting
Yes.
lightning arrows, and then each of those powers affect your regular attack, your super or your heavy attack, your cast spell attack, and then
Dashing and
dash
stuff like that.
dash attack. Yeah, and then there's 8 different weapons or something. Six
No,
or 8.
Well, no, there's 1, 2, 3. There are 6.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 6 of them, but each one of them has their own. There are 4 forms of the swords, and some of them are
you can
just
level
a little,
those up.
You can level those up. Some of them are a little different, and some of them are wildly different.
Mm-hmm. And so you're going through these same stages over and over and over, like a roguelike, like your Binding of Isaac. And every time you get sent back, every time you die, you just get sent back to the beginning. But that's the story. Hades is no, you're not getting out of here. And you get taunted by him every time.
Because I think it's one of the best things of this roguelike. It is very story based.
Yeah.
And so even once you die, you then talk with a bunch of people that are in your main base.
Like that
And
first boss you defeat. If you
Yes.
come back after you defeated him, maybe didn't get to the second boss, they'll be there and be oh, fuck you. No, fuck you.
Because when they die, they just immediately get reborn, and so
Because they're all gods.
yeah. And you are as you're talking with them, you're giving them stuff, and you're deepening your relationships with them, and that's giving you access to other quests or trinkets and stuff and things like that. You're upgrading your room and all those things, and you're upgrading yourself too. You're upgrading the weapons. You're upgrading it's
A lot of cosmetic upgrades to the Hall of Hades.
mm-hmm.
Adding new rooms into your run. You get to add in a fountain that lets you heal because there's no healing. That's why it's hard. But it adds in a little fountain area that you can heal at. That's the first room you unlock. So, it's super, 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 ultra, mega awesome, and everyone. It's $20.
Yeah, and I feel the best thing about it is because it's very story based. Even as you're running up against the wall again and again, it doesn't feel it feels like you're still making progress because you're getting more story and new.
Yeah,
new
sometimes
other
I
things
get
appear.
a certain point and I'm just no, I'll just die so I can go back because I got past it and I just kind of want to see what's happening in that early part still. So I'll just be end my run early.
Yeah.
I got to the 4th level for the first time yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Nice.
Poison became a thing.
Yes, it did. You have to watch out for that. Yes. Fucking satyrs. That's where if you have an Athena thing that's reflect, That's
okay.
That's
All right.
great time to get that is for fucking those guys.
Chiron, the boatman of the dead, is the shopkeeper.
Have you tried to steal from him yet?
I didn't even know you could steal.
There's a point where you're going to be able to try and steal something from him, and just let me know how that goes.
I will let you know as soon as I do that. Yeah, Hades is real good. I think that's been it for video game wise. I got a PS5 pre-order.
You lucky son of a bitch.
Yeah, I was watching a live stream of on giantbomb.com, and the chat exploded with like pre-orders are up because it was after that the stream they did that announced the price and release date and stuff like that. It's coming out like 2 days after the Xbox One, so the same week. And like chat exploded with like, here's the Walmart link, here's the Target link, here's blah 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 blah. And
here, the worst thing about it is that during the stream with they were like, it's gonna come out tomorrow. It's coming out on the 17th.
Pre-orders are tomorrow.
More. Yeah, and then the stores are like, you know what? Fuck it, we'll just do it now.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Yep.
And they did, and I linked it in a Slack chat. I was like, hey everyone, the pre-orders are up, and then I pre-ordered one.
Yep. I tried to think about it for like 20 or 30 seconds of like, did you have to pay for it then?
Yes.
I was like, do I want to pay for it now or do I want to wait for? And then I was like, fuck it, I'll just do it now. And then in that time, it got sold out. And I was like, God damn it! And then I was waiting for Amazon because I was expecting it to be like on a like midnight or something like that. And then it came out at like 11:45, so I fucking missed out. And I was like, oh god damn it!
Yeah.
And then I saw Best Buy, but theirs just kept crashing. I got a pre-order. Like, and then I just went to go pay for it, and I was like on the before the final payment screen. I was on it, and it just timed out, and then I had to restart, and then it just got fucked, and I was like, God damn it.
Yep.
So,
which is a lot of what the Nvidia 3080 pre-orders were. The pre-orders
except that was like all condensed in about 15 seconds.
No, less than that.
No, I mean
15 1/15 of a second. It was tens of thousands of people online trying to get a Nvidia 3080. And they were at 7 o'clock, so I was up for work anyway. So I was like, I guess I'll try. I had given my odds in Slack of about 1 to 10,000. That was way not low enough odds. Like 1 in 100,000 probably. And all of the websites that you would buy these cards from, no one had any like bot protection. So people that had made bot scripts to buy stuff off of these websites were buying them by the dozens, like the instant that they were available, without anyone else ever getting a shot at trying to buy it. So they went from like buy now to sold, from like coming soon to buy now to sold out in a quarter of a second, a tenth of a second. If you didn't click at just the right time while all these websites were in the middle of just crashing to the burning, lighting up the night sky with the fires of their servers, you just didn't get one. They've been trickling out since then. I have one on the German Amazon page that was up for way too long and probably sold out well before I got it, about 10 minutes after it launched. A day afterwards, they said that they had gotten 20,000 orders for that card alone. And those are clearly not going to happen. But mine hasn't been canceled yet, but I'm not sure if anyone else's has either. So it's sort of just sitting on the Amazon German Amazon store right now for the 3080. Inevitably, I will get one. It's one of the best cards that's come out in many, many, many years for a really reasonable price. And unless AMD's is way better. So we'll find out when they launch that news next month. I do need to get a better power supply, though. I have a
yes,
650. You need a 750 for the fucking Oof. Yeah. So I have to get a new power supply just for the 100 watts. But the card's great. I mean, especially because I have like a nice VR headset that's gonna run that VR headset like fucking butter. So,
See, since I want to get a really nice VR headset and like I want to upgrade, like I really want to get my hands on one, and then I want to hand down almost everything out of my computer into Megan's desktop. So then Megan and I will both actually have pretty good desktops. Well, actually, at that point, I'll have a great desktop, and she'll have a pretty good desktop.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, speaking of the VR headsets, I just pre-ordered the Oculus Quest 2.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because it's fucking dirt cheap.
Yeah, it was like 300.
It's 300 for the base one, and you can actually get 10% off
if you
from Target.
Oh, okay.
So I got it for 270.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So my only thing is to get it down to that price point. Like the internals are so much better than the regular one, but like a lot of the outside stuff is not great, which is fine.
Outside stuff,
like the strap.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But I'm gonna try and just use the deluxe audio strap I have already
with the 3D print adjuster thing.
Yeah, with a new 3D printed thing.
Okay.
But they changed the IPD adjustment from a slider to like 3 different sections or selections of basically, was it 58 millimeters, 63, and then 68. So if you don't fall within those lines, it can be a little, what do they call it? The chromatic aberrations.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm at like 69, 69 and a half or so.
Nice.
And so, yeah. And so when I order, I'm ordering it, but I'm not like immediately selling my my Quest 1 yet, because I want to make sure that I am outside of that by 1.5 or so millimeters. And I want to make sure it's not like a deal breaker because of that. But they're going to unlock 90 hertz at some point on it.
Nice.
So
yeah,
especially for
that's
PC
what we
too.
played when you and Paul were over here Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Nice. And then the index can go up to 144. So if I get a 3080, 144 is happening.
There you go. Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward. Like it has basically it's just about like 2K resolution for your eyes too on this thing. It actually has a better screen, I think, than the index itself, which is surprising.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward. And like I said, 278. That was low enough that I was like, I can get it. And then if the IPD is a deal breaker, then I'll just return it and then just use my Quest and then maybe get like a PC headset. I don't know. We'll see.
We will see.
Yes.
Indeed. Right on. Jeff, do you have any other bantery things you wanted to chit chat about?
I don't think so.
All right.
Nope.
Then I think we're good to move on to Bloody Minute.
Yeah.
Yes. This one was a game of my Tomb Kings versus the legendary Tom Fotis' Chaos Chosen. It was a new team for this Season 2 of the Bash League, because my last game in the first season, I completely destroyed his Norse team, I think. Pretty sure I murdered all of them, so they didn't come back for this one. Unfortunately, his Chaos Chosen are not having a great season. I think they are still sitting dead last in our league standings, with me not far behind him. That is correct. He is last. I am second to last. But it did not go well for him dice-wise. He was getting diced super hard. He is Chaos Chosen, of course, but they are still fairly new. They all had block, but no claw yet. A guard here, a mighty blow there. Didn't have a lot of skills. He got some inducements. He induced the claw big guy, like monster thing that I have not actually seen a miniature for outside of Fumble. So I made sure to foul the shit out of that, and it was gone. So then I didn't have to worry about it anymore. The way I did that is because of Wild Animal. So Wild Animal on his Minotaur, if you try and move or do anything except blitz or block, you need a 4+ to activate, but you don't lose your tackle zone. But he has 2 Wild Animals. If they're both on the ground, you can get a 2+ blitz from one of them, but you need a 4+ on the other one. There's like no way to get both of them up off the ground on 2+. Unless they had jump up, which these stars/minotaurs did not. So then I just kept following the crap out of it and got him out of the game. So that was great, especially because that was a lot of inducements. And then it really just went downhill continuously for him. I had +2 fame. I don't know if any actual plus fame kickoff events came up. The fumbled dice stats / like turn stuff has been not working for the past couple weeks, so I can't actually see the dice stats of everything. I can just see your basic stats of like how many blocks people made. I made 47 blocks, but I got 4 casualties out of it. 3 badly hurts, a miss next game on a miss next game on his Minotaur, and is I think he has 1 because his naming things suck. So his player that is number 7 is named number 41. His player that's number 9 is named number 27. So it's always hard to see what I did to him. I gave him a minus move on one of his chaos blockers. As Tomb Kings, you are super slow. It's hard to pick up the ball. It's hard to score points, touchdowns, whatever. I ended up winning this game 4-1. 4-1 with Tomb Kings. And his score that he got was the best he had rolled all game, and I couldn't catch up to him. I still blitzed his Blodger with a POW. That's the only way I could knock him down. Didn't break armor. He was able to get up, pick up the ball, dodge away, and then go for it to the end zone. Which was, I was like, okay, that's what's gonna happen. But I still scored 4 touchdowns in this game, and was handed my
Jeff?
seventh double of skill ups for this team. I have, of course, the 3 block Tomb Guardians, the doubles Blitzer, the doubles Thrower, and then who was handed yet another doubles. Except,
oh my God.
Except there's nothing really to give a Thrower that he has dodge, but he doesn't have block because he got doubles on his first skill. If he gets doubles, you just give him block because he needs block because he's going to get screwed. So I had to ignore the doubles and just give him block because, like, if he had gotten doubles after that, there would have been options. But getting him block was very important. My other thrower has plus move and block. I got a skeleton lineman that got a skill. I gave him kick. That will make it so when I do a kickoff, I will be able to have the distance that it bounces or deviates. It'll go D6 spaces in one of the 8 directions. I can turn that into half, like 1 will become 0. It'll just boom, land right there. So I can get the kick where I want it a lot easier. And with how much I'm smashing the shit out of teams, when I kick to them, they'll a lot of times go to one side because that's just the players they have left. And I can now be able to really put that kick in like the corner that he doesn't have anyone. They can still pick it up and pass and stuff like that, of course, but unless I get blitz, like I did against Tom Photos, and got under the ball with 4 players off a blitz, because he did that and I got a blitz. Didn't defend against the blitz. That's very critical. And that's something that the new edition will sort of fix a little bit, because you don't get to move your whole team, you get to move D3 plus 3. So it's 4 to 6 players and not like your whole team. But yeah, definitely the most win game I've had in a very long time with this team. I have the most team value of anyone in the league right now because of all those doubles. I have 1830K. The next closest is 1770.
Wow.
That is the Nurgle team that I played earlier this season, thankfully. My last 3 games, it's going to be Chaos Dwarves. It's going to be Old World Alliance, which is that new team that isn't great. And it's like the dwarf, human, halfling team. And then my last game of the season will be against Chaos Renegades, who are, certainly up on me in the stat. They're actually number 1 right now. So what I need is some W's. I've got 1 win, 2 ties, and 1 loss. So these last 3 games, I need win by smashing them into the ground.
Well, good luck.
Good luck. We're all counting on me.
Right on. That wraps up the Bloody Minute portion of the show. And now the two of you can dive right into a Kingdom Death Hour.
Yes. So we played Kingdom Death this last Sunday. We had our 5-player crew. So we went to our People of the Sun campaign.
Correct.
Yes, People of the Lantern, People of the Stars, People of the Sun. This is the campaign we hadn't played before. This was the first game we played after we got all the crazy newborns. We got like our savior equivalent, the Rainbow Warrior, that no one actually used during this this campaign, but we have it. Instead,
someone might use them now.
Yeah, well, we might use them now.
Yeah.
So we started in Lantern Year 12 on this one. We ended at the beginning of 15. So we ended with the Dark Dentist event, which someone could get a like Monster Claw style benefit, which we did with Thursby, because he had the Monster Claw style guy and the Red Fist. He was definitely the unarmed combat guy. So we spent the 2 iron, to give him sharp on all of his unarmed attacks, because now he has a giant iron jaw. Of course, he failed that, re-rolled it, and then went to success. No, I don't think he had to use a re-roll. He just fucking rolled it, and that was what it was.
Yep.
Which was, I think, a 50-50. If maybe a 5+. Then after that, we fought a Sunstalker level 1, which is the crazy light refracting bullshit giant monster that moves like 16 spaces.
With all its tentacles. But we ambushed it.
But due to hunt events, we ambushed it, so we could start however we wanted, wherever we wanted, put the terrain wherever we wanted, and then the tactics card I got from an item I have, if you're on the 4 corners of the monster, someone can spend, or the tactics card holder can spend a survival, and it will immediately do a wound to the monster and knock it over, which was extremely powerful, especially with us going first.
Oh, yeah.
So we were able to hit on 3+ no matter what when a monster is knocked down, and we just pummeled the absolute garbage out of the monster.
Yes, we did.
We very, very quickly killed the monster, but not before we remembered to get the salt. Salt is the thing that we needed from this monster. It's terrain that's on the board, and we have to go over to it, use it, and that's what actually makes all of the stuff we get from the monster, which we forgot the other time that we fought it, the other couple times. So that one was pretty straightforward. We just pummeled the shit out of that monster. I don't remember really anything in that battle that was of note besides the murder.
What I do remember is just at the very end, I did a crit on a wound, and it just, like, I was like 6 away, or 5 away
You
from
shot it with an arrow.
Yeah, and it just shot a super concentrated ink blast right at me.
A geyser of ink. Yes, you were
yeah.
covered in ink, which would have put you in shadow for the rest of the hunt, or the showdown.
Yep.
But it was literally the last wound, so it didn't matter.
No, it did not.
Then when we got back, we got Elder Council. Elder Council, I don't remember doing anything special. It lets you take some retired survivors you have, ones that have aged out, that have had more than 16 hunt XP, and it lets you one of them lets you like bring it back for one more go. You can bring back one of your retired hunters.
But it's you have to do it. No matter how broken they are, they're like, I'm coming.
I'm a coming. I don't remember what even happened in this Elder Council.
I think we just lost something. Like we lost an endeavor or something like that.
Yeah. It wasn't anything special.
No.
We got the Great Sky Gift. We are living underneath the sun, or what we think is the sun, and the Great Sky Gift was the sun power vomiting stuff into like our sacred pool, and we were all really excited about it. This is also the event that lets us expand our sacred pool, which lets us get the super high tier item builds. Like, it needs like 2 level 3 lion items, a level 3 phoenix item. We've literally never fought a level 3 phoenix because a level 1 phoenix is already bullshit enough that
I can't even imagine.
I cannot imagine a level 3 Phoenix. That would be awful. Especially because the Phoenix has a lot of stuff where like he ages you out and you have to archive all your gear. Like your gear is gone.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, that super sucks. So we did the Great Sky Vomit, and after that we finally unlocked one of the 2 last pieces of Kingdom Death Monster content that we have never done, which was Spidercleese, which has never been built because the model is specific to however you have to fight it, and it's very gangly and huge and stupid.
And it has minions.
And it has minions, yes.
Little spiders that run around. But that's not the one we unlocked.
No.
The one we unlocked was the Lion God.
The Lion God.
This is one that we've had in like the past 5 or 6 campaigns, but you don't you don't get to see it until, year 13. And so like around 10 to 12 is usually when one thing goes wrong and then it just sort of snowballs from there.
Yep.
So we've never gotten a chance to actually fight the Lion God, and so we
unlocked it.
We unlocked it. We're like, we have to go fight it.
We have to go fight it, and we went and fought it. And the Lion God is not easy.
No, it's not.
He starts with a ton of terrain. It's got a very like Egyptian theme to it, like necropolis, like looting a tomb, sort of pyramid-esque thing. From all the art of it, it looks like it's absolutely massive. Like fucking Godzilla size.
Obviously, the mini isn't that big.
No,
but
it is not. But he has like a ton of knockback effects. He picks up the terrain and throws it at people. He has a massive amount of damage that he does. Like you're taking 5 damage to a location. When you get thrown shit at you. You're taking a ton of damage to multiple locations, like 10 damage to locations, 10 damage to 2 locations. Sometimes all 20 of that damage goes to the same location.
Yeah.
A lot of bleeding tokens. You can't
he'll
even
have a chance to Oh yeah, go for it.
You can't even attack him unless it's from the blind spot without taking a bleeding token. So you're bleeding all over the place.
There's a chance that he can impale you, and then he's running around with you on him, and every time it happens, you take bleeding effects. And it's just,
He's impaled you on his horn, and he's still running around with you on his horn. But one thing that he's creating by throwing all this shit around is a sinkhole. And what that is, you can delve into the sinkhole. Another survivor needs to be there to hold the rope. But then you need to roll on this table, and if you roll high enough on each table, you get to go deeper and deeper and unlock these different, looted relics.
Yes, like little boxes, like up to a sarcophagus.
Yes.
That you can take.
So I did it once and didn't get anything. I did it another time and got all the loot we could get without rolling a 10, I think, on the second table. From a level 1 Lion God.
Yeah. But this sinkhole, you have to have somebody there to help you. If you ever go into the sinkhole when no one else is there, you just die. You just fall down a hole and you die.
Yes. Yes. And the Lion God has an immense amount of knockback effects. Knockback 7, knockback 12, knockback 20.
And the one that there's his trap knocks you back 10. But if you didn't hit something, you go back 20. I forget exactly what it was.
If you have heavy armor,
you get knocked back 20. But then if you hit the board edge, you have to roll and on a
50-50.
50-50. If you fail that roll, you just get thrown into the darkness, and then you're just dead.
You're dead, and it's over. Yep,
and it's over.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ended up beating the Lion God by the hair on our chinny chin chin. No one died. Any severe injuries we got were fairly minor. The reward we get is interesting. It's like what was it, the Nightmare Tick or something like that? No, that's the name of a vermin.
Yes, it is.
It's like a leech.
Oh, the worm.
The worm.
The knowledge worm.
Knowledge worm, yes. So the knowledge worm comes out of the Lion God's mouth, and everyone's like, ooh, we'll take this back. It becomes a new innovation, a new technology for your settlement. It gives you a scrap every every settlement phase or settlement year. Lantern year,
yeah.
Yeah. But if anyone ever and it gives you +3 survival when you depart, +3 insanity when you depart. But if you ever depart with someone with 10 or more insanity,
they're compelled to eat the worm.
Yes, and it has been the most disturbing art I've seen in Kingdom Death Monster for quite some time.
Let's just say the worm isn't like earthworm sized.
No,
so.
It is large. Very, very large. And the art is disturbing, to say the least. So Zach ingested the worm and became a necromancer.
Mm-hmm.
We got a bunch of other stuff from it, from those the boxes and stuff that we looted. That were all very interesting gear. And then we're like, all right.
That had we known, like, had I happened to have any of those on me, would have helped a lot, but it didn't.
No,
because like when I was a necromancer, anything that had the word symbol on it would give me +1 to all armor.
And you get a special severe injury table. Like, you're not taking severe injury rolls to your chest, head, arms, legs, waist, etc. You have, on the back of the innovation card, is its own special severe injury table. You die in a 1, 2, or 3, but basically a 4+, like, you don't actually take anything, but you don't even take... Do you even take bleeding tokens?
Occasionally you'll take it, but no, it's you don't have any...
you basically can't take severe injuries anymore.
Yeah, you're not taking, like, dismembered arms or anything like that. It's just, with that worm, it's just you take it, like, you just take it all to the body, more or less. Yeah. And you just take it until you die.
Yes. So then we decided to fight a Sunstalker level 2.
Because we wanted to build more of the Cyclops stuff. Or
Cycloid? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
His armor set stuff. And so we were like, level 2, let's do it. We're all great. We're all awesome. There's nothing that could ever kill us except a Sunstalker level 2 immediately killing Zach.
So, yeah. What happened is, it was on his turn. The first thing that we card was his one legendary card.
Which is ultra bad. Always.
Which did like 4 damage to 2 locations and knocked us all down. And nobody can encourage anybody. So, like, we immediately took a ton of damage, and then it was like, great, now it's his turn again. And then it was like, he chose the person that was farthest away, and that happened to be me because we were 5 people, and he's a 4x4, so one person had to be out of line with him, and it was me. And he ran up to me and basically stabbed me with tentacles twice, and then I immediately died.
And it was 2 dice of 10 damage each?
Yes, yeah.
And then it was 2 more dice of 10 damage each.
Yeah.
It was absolutely insane how much damage he was doing. And you were super dead. And then that's when we finally stood up and could fight the monster, which then almost immediately killed me. Mm-hmm. Then it finished Thursby off.
No, Thursby was the last person.
One. Paul. Must have been Paul.
No, I think it was Eric.
Was it Eric? I thought it was Eric and Thursby were the last 2, but
I don't know. Either way, I just remember the sheer amount of shades that were around, surrounding everybody.
Yes, because he creates little creatures that will then attack you, and he absolutely destroyed all 5 of us without us even putting up much of a fight at all. And we were all murdered, and we had our total party kill. For the first time in a very long time.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we get to birth a lot of really, really great survivors, and that's what we did on our next year before we called it a day.
I do remember Jeff yelling at both Paul and I, because we were just like, oh shit, we died. All right, we're going to take these 2 characters. And
yes.
I can't fucking choose those yet.
Both Paul and Zach were like, oh, we're going to take the best 2 characters without any other input from any other players in any way, shape, or form.
All right, to be fair, the one I chose, I deliberately chose one that was like the 2nd or 3rd best. So Paul's the one that immediately went with Karen, the Rainbow Warrior.
Yeah, of course he did. So that's where we ended our last one. But, I mean, we still have a ton of survivors. We get another year, and then we go Manhunter level 3, which I think is going to be the first time we fought him.
In a while, yeah.
Yep. So we've got another 5 Lantern years until the year 20 Final Gift event, which is a campaign event.
Yep.
And we'll find out what happens then.
Ooh.
Yeah, haven't gotten to the end, the end game of a Kingdom Death campaign more than twice.
Well, once we beat the Watcher, and then we had to wait 5 years to fight the Gold Smoke Knight, and that was when we could only fight level 3 monsters, and we're like, oh, I think we're just gonna all die. Let's go try something else. And then I don't think
we got to the end of a People of the Stars, but we didn't have enough people of the stars, and so we ended it there.
Yeah,
and then we got to an actual close to an end of the People of the Stars.
Close to it, but then it was.
Then everyone died.
Something. I think we still had a ways to go.
Yeah.
So I know we haven't fought the level 3 tyrant and then his dragon form.
Yep.
So yeah, it's been going go.
Yeah, this one's been all right. It was the first of the new. It was the first campaign that came out after the base one, so it's still got some rough spots. But inevitably, there will be a Gambler's Box and a Campaigns of Death that will add an absolute shit ton into the game and redo all the campaigns and revise all the monsters and add in little short campaigns, 5-10 year campaigns, and not these 25-year campaigns that will make it easier to finish a whole campaign in a couple sessions and not just 6 to 8 months.
Yep.
Yeah. So we shall see.
Indeed we shall.
Indeed.
Right on. Well, I think that officially wraps up all of the first half of the show. What we've been playing, Banter, Bloody Minute, Kingdom Death Hour, all that stuff. And lets us move over.
Let's say
news.
the first 2/3.
First 2/3.
Yes.
Let's just move over, however, to some news and Kickstarter is really the point. So we're on to news and Kickstarters.
Yes. First up in news, Hasbro is taking over management of Avalon Hill. Hasbro, of course, owns Wizards of the Coast, which owns the brand Avalon Hill, which, of course, is known, most known for Betrayal, I guess?
I feel like
at this point,
more or less fair.
Betrayal and Axis and Allies. Yeah.
Okay. So that's happening.
Yeah. So not a ton of information here. This is just kind of a little bit of organizational reshuffling as Hasbro has stepped more firmly into modern board gaming versus the old school mass market board gaming. It makes sense that Avalon Hill would move closer to that side of things than rather Wizards, which is more RPG, TCG, LCG type gaming.
And
since Wizards also oversees Magic,
Fury of Dracula
D&D,
at this point,
and Fury of Dracula,
yeah.
So
and bad components,
yeah. So yeah,
most recent Avalon.
Oh, I'm thinking WizKids. I'm thinking WizKids.
Yeah, you are thinking of WizKids. You confused me. I was like, wait, really? Yeah. The article here also talks a little bit about how board gaming is one of the few markets that has actually grown during COVID. Shocker. People are stuck at home. They're playing board games. The biggest tier, though, is the 20 to 30. And this article is apparently from the UK because it's 20 to 30 pounds versus the larger big box 100 pound items. So I don't have the conversion rate immediately handy, but I think that's in that 15 to 40 range, somewhere in there.
Let's say $23.52.
Sure.
To 20 euros.
Sure.
Yeah.
So $20 to $35 American. And a lot of Avalon Hill stuff kind of falls vaguely in that range. I feel like they're a little bit pricier than that. I didn't see the price ever on Scooby-Doo Betrayal, but I feel like I'd be surprised if it was less than $50.
Yep.
So, but yeah, just minor reorganization over there at Hasbro with all their different gaming properties.
Yeah, we'll see what that actually does to Avalon Hill with all of this, but
yeah.
They saw the dollar signs in Betrayal. We need some of this. Who knows? Axis and Allies Legacy. Coming soon to a
oh god
board game near you.
I feel like that's getting awfully close to just being real life.
Yeah.
Anyway, next up on news.
There's a new roll and write that seems pretty cool. If you like pinball, it's a pinball roll and write. This from WizKids.
Yes. So the game is Super Skill Pinball 4Cade, which is just a ridiculous fucking name. But it's coming to us from Geoff Engelstein, and I couldn't remember which way it was.
He did The Expanse and Space Cadets, and that's all I care about that he did.
Super Skill Pinball 4Cade, 1 to 4 player, like we said, roll and write game, where you're trying to score the most victory points over 3 rounds of pinball. So the game comes with 4 unique pinball tables, and there's enough for every player. So there's 4 each of 4 different pinball tables, and each table is represented by 2 separate dry erase boards. 1 for the pinball like playing area, and then 1 for the back glass, which is mostly a score tracker. And the way the game plays is a player rolls 2 dice, and everybody chooses one of those 2 die to move their ball around on their table. Just like in regular pinball, your ball starts at the top of the table and slowly works its way down. They have little like bumper spots and things like that you can try and hit. And basically, as it comes down, you keep moving it down different levels, and you choose how far down. Like you could let it like plummet, but as you fill in different numbers, you can try to get it to hit different features on the pinball table. So like bumpers can give you a chance to like bump it back up or over to the side or all around on your table. But you're also hoping, depending on if you like bumper it up at the top a whole bunch, you'll fill in all those bubbles, then there's nowhere to fill it in at the top anymore, and it'll have to fall. Slowly, it works its way down until it gets to the flipper zone, where if you have the right box to mark off, you can use a flipper to shoot it back up to the top. Otherwise, the ball drops, and that's the end of your round. So each player's rounds can last different amounts of time, which is kind of an interesting aspect of this game that we can talk about a little bit more. But you keep playing until everyone has completed 3 full rounds. So once you finish 1 round, you just start over with a new ball up at the top, filling things in. There are things, just like in a regular pinball game, where you can kind of like start to unlock things by hitting different combos or different things in different orders, things like that. The 4 tables are Carnival, Cyberhack, Dragon Slayer, and Dance Fever. And they range in difficulty from easy to advanced. So yeah, that's the base kind of game here. They do say in this little overview on BGG that different pacing, where different people's rounds can end at different times, does give it a very multiplayer solitaire feel, especially because there's not really any way to affect other people's tables. But the person who wrote this said that like they still felt a lot of excitement, like looking at, like still paying attention to what everybody else is doing, like while you're waiting for the dice to be rolled for the next part of your round. And so that it was still a lot of fun to play with people, but I don't know, we'll see.
I think it is hard for a lot of roll and writes to not feel like that multiplayer solitaire.
Yes.
But this one seems like it's cool. Like it's a very unique theme for this, and I like especially having like the actual like ball there that's moving down. And I think this seems like it could be. I would be very curious to see if someone did an app implementation of this eventually, if this actually works well.
Yes.
There is a full print and play out there that you can do. Full rulebooks out there you can print and play. You can try it right now.
Yes.
Do it now.
Not without you just won't have the fancy dry erase boards.
Yes.
There's also things like different skill shots where you can call like specific results. There's things like nudging the table as a mechanic in this one.
Don't tilt.
Nice.
Yeah, and you can totally tilt. So basically you have 3 nudges that you can do per game. And when you nudge, you basically get to change a die to whatever number you want. But you write down in the little nudge section the difference between what the original die number was and the number you want. So if it was a 2 and you're bumping it to a 6, the difference is 4. But then on the next roll, you check the difference between the 2 die results. If that difference is less than the amount you nudged, then you tilt.
Okay.
Which like they talk.
Seems cool.
Yeah, they talk about like in a particular game where like 2 players both nudged at the same time, and then the person writing the review, rolled doubles on their thing, which doubles would cause any nudge to immediately be a tilt because the difference between the 2 die on doubles would be 0. And so any nudge would tilt. And so it caused both of those players to tilt. Yeah. I'm like, I've talked before about how I'm a little overdone with roll and writes. This one seems like a fresh enough mechanic that like you said, Zach, if it had like a cool app or something, I'd be probably a little bit more interested. I don't think I'm going to pick it up because I'm not going to play a roll and write with like people, and I'm not going to play one solo on the table. But if there was a app for it, like I think that's one area where roll and writes are really great. They're nice little simple apps that you can play. So yeah, that is Super Skill Pinball 4K. Moving on to the last bit of news.
Do you know the best thing about HeroQuest?
That there's a new HeroQuest.
Timers to wait until there's a new HeroQuest.
Yeah. So right now, as of this Monday evening recording, there are 13 hours and 14 minutes and 39 seconds
36
left
seconds,
on this
man.
timer.
Come on.
Huh?
I said it's 36 seconds. Now.
Well, now it's 30.
Now it's
30.
29, 28, 27.
Our timers must be vaguely off or something, because I feel like you're saying the number slightly before I'm seeing the number.
I'm just in the future, man. That's all it is.
I'm always living in the past. What can I say?
So,
Anyhow,
there's not
we
a
don't
lot.
know shit.
It's coming from Hasbro. It's coming from Avalon Hill. We had a news story about them earlier. There is also an ESRB certified thing on there, which is the video game overlord. They run E3. They kind of,
and that's the ratings board too, right?
Yes. They give everything their their M's and their T's, E's. So I'm expecting some sort of heavy digital implementation into this.
So I do think it's interesting. So like the Reddit thread that we originally pulled this from mentioned that like, ooh, it's got an ESRB sticker. If you click on the ESRB sticker on the HeroQuest countdown, it just takes you to a thing that says Hasbro is an ESRB privacy certified member in good standing. What does this mean? ESRB privacy certified companies implement responsible. It doesn't reference anything related to video gaming or anything like that.
I don't think this is going to be an entirely digital HeroQuest. I don't think there's going to be.
I certainly don't. The Twitter handle for it alone specifically says Boardgame, and the way it's Avalon Hill and Hasbro, I also continue to think heavily Boardgame related. But I don't know how much of any kind of digital implementation there will be, period.
Yes, so everything's really up in the air at this point. The HeroQuest guy, who has been making videos for a long time, Bardrick Broadcasts is his YouTube channel, and of course he did the HeroQuest video. He has a bunch of premonitions of what's going to happen. They're probably mostly right. It's just going to be no more roll to move, which is what HeroQuest was. I suspect they're going to get rid of the Overlord, depending on what this is going to be. Type game. I doubt there's going to be an Overlord anymore. Everyone's gotten away from Overlords. Mansions of Madness, Imperial Assault, etc. Many examples. So that's what makes me think there might be a digital app controlling that sort of stuff. The art's all going to change. The game's going to change. It's going to be very, very different from what HeroQuest was. Not that HeroQuest is good, but it was good.
Yes.
But it's certainly past its time. A lot of people thinking...
It is dated.
Yeah, a lot of people think Restoration Games is going to have some part in this.
Because they have something to do with the trademark on the name
They
or
had
something?
a trademark earlier this year. I remember reading about that. But we'll really just have to wait and see what it's gonna be.
Yeah, we'll definitely probably be talking about this next week after the timer runs out and we see what the fuck is actually happening. At like 9 o'clock tomorrow.
Yes, and we'll find out what this is. The art that is on the timer, that is art from one of the expansions. It's like the Lich Lord or something like that. That does come up in the Bardrick broadcasts video as well. He knows a lot about stuff and the art. So
he does. Or he does a lot of research. Yes.
But maybe it's his favorite game. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. That sort of what he points out in the video is like a very realistic fantasy art. That's probably not gonna carry over into the modern era, unfortunately. Even though as much as I love all of that wonderful art from way back when, but we'll see. It hopefully it still contains the essence that is HeroQuest.
Indeed. That's it for news, though, and let's just move over to some Kickstarters.
Yay, Kickstarter! First up on Kickstarter this week, we have a Reckless Deck, a Psyche. Very well funded, $116,000 of its $15,000 goal. Almost 1,200 backers, about 3 weeks left to go on this one. You can back this one for about its most popular level of $35.
Yeah, so this is kind of an interesting one. This is kind of a, like, supplement kind of a thing.
I mean, it's basically just prompt cards, more or less, for
anything that you need to make a character for.
Yes. Now, you said that this is his second version of something like this, but the other one was just strictly, like, art-based, right?
Yeah, so it originally, this is the third Kickstarter. The first one failed, and then the second one was basically a slight relaunch of the first one. And the idea was that he's an illustrator, and he talked about, like, sometimes, wanting to paint or draw or whatever, and drawing a blank. Like, I don't know what to do. Writer's, artist's block or whatever. So he came up with, like, a set of, like, I think the art one was, like, 4 decks that represented different traits. And you just shuffle them up, draw 4 cards, and that gives you an idea of, like, what thing to draw. This one, I think it doesn't mention as much, like, related to art type stuff. It just, it doesn't really target what it's meant to be used for. It's just kind of a generic, like, character builder. But you use, it's 400 different cards. That's split up into a bunch of different categories.
Strengths, flaws, given circumstances, super objectives, occupations, secrets, formative events, inciting incidents.
Yeah. So basically, like, the first 4 are from the core deck, and that just applies to everyone. And so that's, like, your super objective, which is, like, I don't know, your focus.
To exact revenge.
Yeah, like things like love, power, knowledge, stuff like that. Then there's strengths, flaws, and the given circumstances. And those all kind of come out of the circumstances, like a goal, what your character's goal is. But there's other things like it says phobias, addictions, state of family relationships, physical, mental skills, things like that. Then there's companion decks. And companion decks are context specific. So the base set of the game comes with a contemporary set, but you can get a bunch of different ones as add-ons and things. There are 160 cards, and they basically add the next 4 categories, but they're all going to be vaguely genre specific. So they might not all have the same
urban fantasy.
Or no, they will all have the same 4. So it's going to be occupation, secret, formative event, and inciting incident, which is like what made you go do whatever you're doing.
So wait, you're trying to tell me that the FBI agent occupation wouldn't work in a fantasy environment?
I think it would maybe be easier than the TV ghost hunter in a fantasy environment.
But that is urban fantasy, sir.
Yes.
Oh, that is true. That is urban fantasy. Oh, well, that actually pretty much just convinced me that I don't want to get urban fantasy if it has TV ghost hunter in it. That's fucking stupid. Yeah, they give a bunch of different examples of the cards. They got like kind of a cool backgroundy art thing that I'm assuming is from this guy. And they have a couple examples of like how you can use these 8 cards to create a character. And they even have an anthology series that is like 8 different stories, I think. Written by a variety of different authors using like the deck of cards to come up with a character and then writing a short story about that character in different genre and styles and stuff, which actually sounds kind of cool. I don't trust necessarily that it's any good because I've read a lot of really bad short fiction, but it's a neat idea. And yeah, got a handful of different add-ons for other things. They got little metal coins, protagonist, antagonist coin, stuff like that. Combo sets for the whole shebang, different add-ons, the different companion decks like they've got.
I want to...
Epic...
I assume he's an artist on other games because the Cyberpunk companion deck looks a lot like something that was in Netrunner, and it may have just been his art in Netrunner.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, no, that is Inside Job, I think.
Okay.
In Netrunner, yes. No, that's totally
all right.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe he just did the art.
And I don't know. Lovecraftian noir, Lovecraftian and noir, which they've crammed into one deck. That one, it might just be that that's such a generic type of art.
I just assumed
it
was
just looks
extremely
like it.
generic Lovecraftian noir. But maybe this is all art that he's done.
Possible. Apparently he was briefly a professional actor. I don't know. Illustrator turned professional actor turned illustrator once again. Works as a storyboard artist on True Blood, American Horror Story, Damages. Doesn't mention any games, which I would have thought he would have. Although I work consistent with several game companies, have done the cover art for several books, and continue to have a presence in the advertising world. So, yeah, lots of art from this guy. Yeah. So if you're looking for like a little deck of cards that you can put use to like build characters for RPGs or things like that, just a little there's a word I'm looking for. It's not accessory, but it's basically an accessory. Anyway, Reckless Deck Psyche. Also, by the way, Zach, I did just look it up, and you are correct. That was the art. He was an artist on Netrunner, and Inside Job is the name of the card that he did. So
nice.
You're welcome.
I think that was the only card he did in the entire series. So
fair enough.
Because there's a thing. I wonder if we will see any other cards by Mr. Huggins. Yeah.
Next up on Kickstarter, we have Embarcadero.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. Very well funded, 34,000. It's $5,000 goal, 639 backers. About a week left to pledge this one, which you can at its most popular pledge level, $60.
Yeah. So in Embarcadero, which is a weird word that I've never seen before.
This is also from Renegade Games. Just
yes,
so you know. This is a regular ass publisher on Kickstarter.
Indeed. So it 1 to 5 players, 60 to 90 minutes, and in this game, you are in mid 1800s San Francisco, right in the middle of the gold rush, and apparently, according to this, I'd never heard of this, so I don't know if this is true or not. But apparently, entire crews abandoned their ships to go gold rushing in the mountains in California.
That sounds vaguely familiar to me.
Yeah, and so business moguls started building buildings and things on the ships and using them as like storefronts and things like that. And the whole wharfside district, known as the Embarcadero, became the heart of business in the city. So you take on the role of one of these titans of industry, so to speak, and you are going to be building out along these docks, getting ships, building buildings in the ships. You can fill in, backfill like land and stuff. Ships can sink, all kinds of stuff like that can happen over the course of the game. The Kickstarter comes with, so I said 1 to 5 players earlier. The 5th player stuff is Kickstarter exclusive. So if you want to play with just the most people in what looks like it might be fiddly, then definitely get on the Kickstarter. Playing is really simple. It plays out over 3 rounds. Everybody takes 5 actions per round. Your actions are things like docking a ship at one of the piers, constructing a building, or scrapping cards for money. Then you do a buy phase where you can buy from a selection of cards, different building options and ship options and things like that. You, at the end of each of the 3 rounds, you do different goals that get scored. So in round 1, there's whatever the goal you drew, and then you score your wharves. And then in round 2, it's the goal for round 2, and you score the council. And then in round 3, it's whatever that 3rd goal is, and wharves and the council. And that's it. Really straightforward in that regard. As you build buildings and things, like you actually build buildings, they've got little building tokens, or like pieces, like little square pieces that stack up on these ships. And you can add like multiple floors and things to them, and it seems kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't know. This one looked kind of interesting to me. Problem is I'm not sure if it's actually, any kind of depth to it, or if it would just get really old really quick.
It's always difficult to know. But you might be able to know, because it is totally available on Tabletopia right now. You can go and play it in some fashion on there.
I don't have Tabletopia.
It is totally free. It is browser-based.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
So some of the things that's really cool is like the ship tiles are going to be double layered so that the buildings like sit on the raised portion of the tile. So they don't slip and slide around as much. So that's kind of cool. They got a bunch of...
The Kickstarter exclusive is going to come with the actual plastic structures as well?
Yeah. Yeah, free to all backers.
Seems cool.
Double layered building tiles, so that when you get to those 2nd and 3rd levels, they still have that little double layer action.
Seems like a weird niche of a setting that is something that I've definitely never seen in board games before. So
yeah, and I'm totally there for it. I like weird niche settings. So
it's like, remember all these boats that people built ships on in like the 1870s because all their crews abandoned them for the fucking gold rush? No, me neither.
The group pledge that they have a group pledge for 4 or more, but it only saves you $2 on shipping.
Yay!
Hey, that's $2 right there, man.
It's $2.
Oh, wait, no, it would save you more than that. Sorry, it would save you $7 on shipping.
That's 7.
Oh,
see,
shit.
I bet the next time you look at it, it's going to be 12, and then 20, and then you'll save $5,000.
This is definitely not true. It's here in the U.S. And so, the problem was I looked at the difference between the shipping of the group pledge and the individual pledge, and I was like, that difference divided by 4 is how much you save. But that's not right, because the single shipping is what you, one person, would pay versus whatever the group pledge is divided by 4 being what the individual would pay. And that's where I messed up.
Well, as of right now, no one is taking advantage of that saved $7.
Yes.
So
and I don't entirely blame them. This seems like a game that not everyone in the group is gonna need.
Yeah.
So yeah. I am interested in it though. Maybe it'll be the game that gets me to try Tabletopia. Probably not, but maybe. Yeah, that's Embarcadero.
Last up on Kickstarters this week, we have Cascadia. Cascadia is very well funded. $120,000 of its $8,000 goal. Almost 4,000 backers, and still about a month left to go, which you can get this game for $29.
Very affordable.
Yes.
So Cascadia is a tile-laying game with art from the fantastic Beth Sobel. It is also from the same team that did Calico, which I have seen around a whole lot, but I have never played. And essentially in this game, 1 to 4 players, 30 to 45 minutes, and you're working to try and to complete the most harmonious ecosystem. So you do that by choosing habitats and wildlife and adding them to your own personal little environment. And you want to place habitat tiles in contiguous groups. So like a bunch of rivers all together, or a prairie that's all one big prairie. And then you get a bunch of wildlife in there. Based on what wildlife each different habitat supports. And different species have different requirements for space and connections to one another and their ecosystem and things like that. Then you do some variable scoring, and yeah, that's the real rough overview. But Jeff, you've actually demoed this at PAX Unplugged.
Yes, it was a prototype of Cascadia. I played with Jake and Danielle of Draft Mechanic and Eric of Cardboard Tord?
Yes, also like Tim and Eric in the morning.
Yes. Punchboard Media founder.
Yes.
This, of course, looks much better than the copy that I played. It's a very small box, I think. The scorecards are kind of like the core of the game. That's what's going to get your variability from game to game, because those scorecards are going to be out there, and that's what's going to change how people draft and play their tiles, etc., etc. So you're picking, and this Kickstarter is fantastic because it actually tells you how to play the game. It's easy enough. There's going to be a pool of 4 animals and 4 tiles. You draft that, and you put it in front of you, creating these bigger and bigger landscapes based off those scoring cards. And those scoring cards will be, like the bear one, you can get sets of points, like you want a bear by itself, and then you want 2 bears next to each other, you want 3 bears next to each other, and then you want 4 bears next to each other. But those are all separate pools of bears. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, so you want a group of 1, a group of 2, a group of 3, and a group of 4, and that gets you the maximum amount of points. Something like the fox, you want animals adjacent to your fox, so including fox. So you want like 1 of each animal, including also a fox next to your animal, so that'll get you 5 points, 1 point per animal that's there. But you can have multiple foxes and you can count the same stuff more than once. You will want, and where that hooks is based on those wildlife tiles, they will have printed on them which animals can go on it. So like this forest and river tile can have salmon and a fox, where this mountain, river, forest can have elk, bear, bird, eagle, hawk, whatever. And you can put any of those on there, but once that one is on there, you can't put other animals on there. And then you're trying to connect those same biomes with each other. So you're sort of drafting where you can put your score tiles on top of the actual animal you need to put there. And they give a good amount of examples of what this game will look like with like a full board. And the game sort of just goes until you're out. It was a lot of fun. It was short. It was super easy to grasp. I think I won, which for a game I had not played before, but these guys had. Something that's new to me is nature tokens, which they can increase your options for selecting habitat tiles and wildlife tokens on subsequent turns. So they seem like a wild. They're little pine cones that may have been in the prototype, but I don't remember distinctly.
Yeah.
The one thing I do remember from the game, however, is the bag has all of the animal tokens in it, and then you just have stacks and stacks of those hexes that you're constantly refilling because you're drafting with all players. So when someone drafts, they have to remember to put a new tile down for the next person, and you do that every turn, over and over and over and over and over. So it gets a little fiddly with just constantly refilling that track over and over and over and over. That was really the only complaint I had about the game at all, was just there's only those 4 tiles and you're constantly refilling it from the tile pool. That could be fixed by like stacks in like an insert or something like that, or getting another bag and refilling it from the bag. But I mean, that's a pretty minor complaint for a game that seemed pretty all right. And then they have a solo version available right now. It's digital. Well, it's not on any platform. It is browser-based and or mobile-based. You can literally go there, start, boom, you're in game, and you can just play it. Which just seems like an awesome way to play this game in a solo mode, cartographer's level of, getting your best draft, getting your best pulls, getting the best score you can with various scorecards. They apparently have a family variant in here that will kind of like tone down the complicatedness of how the game plays for maybe younger audiences. But overall, for $29, I think this is going to be a pretty good game.
Right on. Yeah, like I said, it looks interesting to me. I love the art and the tiles and the color. I like that they actually have on this one just a 2-pack. I don't see that very often, but like there's been a couple games that I've seen on Kickstarter before where it's like, I'm kind of interested in this, and I think I know someone who would really like this that I wouldn't mind getting it as a gift for them. Mm-hmm. And so I might go for that. And I think it actually even saves you, a little bit. Not much, but a little bit.
Yeah.
$2.
Eric.
$1 each copy.
Eric is even on the Kickstarter page, spreading his words of how great the game is. It was surprisingly good. It was in the PAX Unplugged, like, come play this game I have in development area, which was super interesting. So, it was a lot of fun. I highly recommend Cascadia if this seems to be even remotely up your alley, which it seems to be up a lot of people's alleys. Let's say about 4,000 people's.
Indeed. I also did just realize, and I don't know what made me realize it, but earlier when you were mentioning Eric, and I was like, also of Tim and Eric in the morning, not Tim and Eric in the morning, because Tim and Eric is a different show thing. Patrick and Eric in the morning.
Yes.
I was kind of surprised once I realized what I had said that you guys had let that one slide by.
Boo. Boo you.
There you go. Wrong. That's better.
Yes.
Go check out Cascadia if that sounds interesting to you.
Yeah, it's super neat.
Indeed.
And you can play it, like, boom.
Boom.
I can play it right now. Boom. Playing it.
Go for it.
Playing it. Boom. I put a tile down. All right. Now I'm done playing.
All right. That wraps up news and Kickstarters, which brings us over to the closing ends of the show, including the Jeff's favorite portion, listener feedback.
Yay! Emails at milehighgameguys.com if you would like to send us an email like this Mike Jones person did, referencing our anniversary episode, 2 episodes ago. Watch your favorite gaming moment on YouTube is what this is titled. I'm sure everyone did that. Hey, y'all. I'd like to start by saying a belated congratulations on 200 numbered episodes. For anybody who knows me, I'm sure it's in no way surprising that I'm late for something. Anyway, y'all have been plugging away at creating tons of content for a long-ass time now, and it's been really fun to come along for that ride. I hope to continue listening to your hours of inane banter interspersed with occasional gems of insight for years to come. I have also included a link to a recent video from a group of well-known British board game journalists / podcasters who shall remain nameless as to not advertise other media entity on your show. Not that we care about that. It's from Shut Up and Sit Down. Duh. Yeah, they really needed our plug to really put them over the edge.
Yes.
It's about favorite gaming memories and implores their fans to share theirs, some of which really, really got me when I read them today. I hoped y'all would consider sharing yours if you felt comfortable doing so. Anyway, hope you and yours are doing better today than you were yesterday, and not as well as you will tomorrow. Hugs and kisses, Mike Jones.
Yeah. So the video, for anyone who didn't see it, came out back at the beginning of the month. Just titled "Your Favorite Gaming Moment." It's definitely a bit heavy.
It was originally published in 2014, by the way.
Was it?
It was.
Oh, okay, never mind. Because that makes a lot more sense. Because in the video, he mentions when Shut Up and Sit Down got really big 3 years ago, and I was like, wait, we've been doing this for 4 years, and they were definitely a thing when we started.
Yes.
So I was very confused. Okay, so yeah, okay, that makes a lot more sense why I also did not hear about some of that. The things he talks about, I was like, I feel like I would have heard that. But not if it was, 6 years ago. But kind of a heavy video, but in it, he, asked people to talk about, some of their favorite gaming moments. And the comments are just completely full of a bunch of awesome, different people's favorite gaming moments. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I was trying to think of some of mine, and there's not a lot that for one, I just always have a terrible fucking memory. But nothing super jumps out to me that I don't know that there's been any that's been super, super impactful. I go back to some of the very early days of game night, and some of the raucous amounts of fun we had playing Werewolf. Some of those first games where we had a bunch of people and everyone was just kind of getting to know each other and talking shit back and forth, blaming each other, trying to, get blame off of you, things like that. I still remember the first time Megan ever came to game night. So one of the first games I ever played with her. I don't remember specifically what all games we played that night, but I know we played Catan that night because that's one of her favorite games of all time. Things like that. As much as I would never play it anymore, I remember how much fun we all used to have playing the different shitty versions of Munchkin. Just all kinds of Munchkin all the time.
That
8 years ago?
Yeah, that game of Munchkin with you and me, that's still one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, no, that was a great one. That was at that big square table at Prost.
Yep.
I remember exactly where we were when that when you fucking... And I hadn't won in so long. 'Cause it was one of those, game night had been going on long enough. I had a reputation, so nobody would work with me. Nobody'd do anything. I was finally going to win, and I didn't want to be like everybody else. I wanted to be generous. And I let Zach in, and he fucking ripped my heart out.
Yes, I did. It was glorious.
So, yeah. I don't know. What about you guys? You have any particular ones that are super standouty for you guys?
Not off the top of my head.
Listen, for me, that Munchkin, there was the game of Betrayal that we played that was Saw, that I remember the win. We had to...
Yeah, that was so good.
Yeah, that every other key we had to find was just, look under this, book. Here it is. Oh, it's in a window. You grab it. Great. But then yours was the last key that we had to get, and they had made you swallow it, so you had to do surgery on yourself to get it out.
Yeah, and it was 4 different checks that I had to pass.
Yeah,
in a row.
Yeah, and they were all super close. It was real good.
But we got it.
We got it. Yes. And then my super bullshit victory in Twilight Imperium 4th edition.
Yeah,
a big fan of that. Paul is still sour about. But still, at least gives me the props that it was good. But like, it convinced some people that are like, I think we only want to do 14-point games now because you can't do any bullshit like Zach pulled.
Yeah. I know Megan, anytime like she's around, and I bring up Twilight Imperium, she always like loves to bring in the fact that the one and only game she ever played of it, she won. And she doesn't ever need to play it again. She's undefeated at Twilight Imperium.
Yep. The first game of Brass that I ever played gave me a real good first impression when I just completely knocked the feet out under Megan.
Yeah, you fucking. I think you ruined that game for Megan. Oh man, that one was good too.
Yep.
Yeah, Megan, I'm just gonna use this, and now you can't do what you were gearing up. All that build up you did to one big last turn, and nope.
Yep. Nope, sorry. But I got it to use it, so it's win-win for me.
Oh shit. Yeah. It was a good reminder, like I don't know the shut up and sit down guys well enough. I can't remember which guy that is in that video because it's just one of them. But he brings up a good point that like it's easy sometimes like to lose sight of, why we do things. Like things get rote and habit. It just becomes like, oh, this thing I gotta do. Game night had gotten that way for me a lot before COVID. It was like, scheduling, going, like talking to people, like, not playing games I want to play anymore. But like just the little like going so long without game night, and then like the one time when we were back in Michigan and getting to play games with Megan's family, it was like, oh yeah, I forgot how much I fucking love playing games with people, even if they're not, big, heavy, crazy thinker games. Like I can have just an absolute ton of fun playing Now Boarding or Compounded or even the fucking not Telestrations, but whatever that monikers.
Yeah.
Like I had so much fun playing monikers. It's just, being with people and doing that kind of social thing. So,
oh yeah, that's one. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was a timely reminder for me. It fits very well with my current feelings towards board gaming and what I miss about it. For Mike Jones to send us this introspective email.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons I was glad we ended up doing Kingdom Death again, because you can just you can sit around and just do nothing, or obviously it does incur more risk, but you just have to judge whether or not that's worth it for you.
Yeah. So
we gave you all this time, Jeff, so obviously you've thought of a couple good ones now, right?
I mean, there was this time that my Lehman Russ battle tank shot this other dude's Rhino, Chaos Rhino. It had a full unit of Nurgle Space Marines in it. And if you penetrated the armor of a vehicle with an ordnance weapon, which is what a battle tank has, and then you get to roll on the ordnance destruction table, and if you roll 6, it disintegrates the fucking transport and everything that was inside it. And so I destroyed, like, I don't know, at least a third of his army with one shot. That was pretty great.
Nice.
Guessing he didn't think that was so great.
Well, he should have disembarked them earlier.
Speaking of Jeff doing something that somebody doesn't like, I remember one of the games that we played when we were in Gen Con. It was like a social deduction game, and we started to play, and then Jeff was just like, by the way, don't listen to whatever the fuck this guy says, pointing to me.
Yes.
He's going to be bullshitting your entire life, so just fuck him. And then they're all like, okay. And I was like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah. That kind of thing happens a lot to us nowadays in game night. Like all three of us get different variations of that treatment.
Yeah.
It's the only time it works is when other people don't know your bullshit. Because once they knew, they would have known not to trust you. I was just letting them know ahead of time.
Leveling the playing field, right?
Yes, absolutely.
By throwing me underneath it.
And you just so happen to also be the traitor.
That's what sucks so much about it.
Good times.
Indeed. All right. I think that's
emails. at milehighgameguys.com.
That also pretty much wraps up listener feedback. We had some comments on our Game of Thrones video, but they're definitely not necessarily specifically for the show.
Strategy and rules.
Yeah,
critiques.
and one person was like, "You need to fix your board view. It's impossible to see anything." It's like, yeah, well, we were also like streaming a whole lot of information at like I don't think we were even 720.
No, that was the first one, so our bit rate was not correct.
Yeah.
It was like 300 or something stupidly low. I'd actually replied to that one. I was like, yeah, it was our very first one. That was a mistake. We could probably knock it out. We could probably do a lot better now if we wanted to do it again, but
that's true.
Maybe post-COVID. Yeah. That is indeed it for listener feedbacks. If you would like to get a hold of us, there are a few different ways that you can do so. You can send us emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can follow us over on Twitter, where I tweet under @MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
I am Jeff_MHGG.
You can also follow us over on Instagram, instagram.com/MHGameGuys, or just @MHGameGuys on Instagram. If you want to check us out over there. We are also on Facebook, facebook.com/MHGameGuys. We have our website, milehighgameguys.com. It has not been updated in quite a while. I need to get some time together here shortly and completely redo it and move it over to Squarespace because we just got fucking sick of trying to deal with Wix, and I just need to take care of that. But if you go to the website, you can still find old show notes that include links to things like our BGG guild number 2731, our Slack channel, which is just full of all kinds of fun and is where we are organizing all of our various games of Among Us and whatnot these days. So it's a great spot to interact with us and figure out what we're up to. You can also follow us over on Twitch, twitch.tv/MHGameGuys. Doing bi-weekly Mile High Dungeon Delvers over there, and Chris's video from Boards and Swords on YouTube inspired me to maybe try and stream later this week, like maybe Thursday night, try and get together another big group and do a stream of Among Us. I think
and
that
you just
might
have to
be
edit the video.
Well, I don't know. I didn't say I was going to try and make a cool edited video. He just inspired me to actually stream our gameplay. So people can just tune in to watch, the gameplay. Editing. Especially video editing. I never made the jump to getting anywhere near passably good video editing. Reaper does the bare minimum video editing. And that's about all I do when I do it, and that's even then few and far between. So, yeah, don't look for an edited YouTube video of us playing Among Us anytime soon. But maybe a live stream of us playing Among Us, coming back to the Twitch channel and just getting some more content up on Twitch. That is basically it for the episode. As always, we want to take some time to thank our awesome sponsors, Gray Fox Games. Their latest game, Arcana Rising, will be going up for pre-orders pretty soon. It just successfully funded on Kickstarter about a month ago. They're getting things lined up over there to open up pre-orders, and you'll be able to pre-order that. And they are continuing to support us and our fans with some awesome coupon codes. So for the next 10-ish days, you can use SEPT MHGG, SEPT MHGG, SEPT MHGG, all caps, as a coupon code over on their website to get, I think they said 20% off, maybe 10%.
20% sounds
off all non-exclusive products. So, no super special fancy stuff, but anything that's non-exclusive, 20% off using that coupon code, which again was SEPTMHGG. Good for a little over a week by the time you're listening to this. Jeff, do you have a prepared statement regarding our sponsors?
Of course. Gray Fox Games, quality games, cleverly crafted. Also, don't regret your past. Learn from it. Regrets only make a person weaker.
There you go. Quality words to live by, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. That wraps up the episode. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you again next week. As always, I've been your host, Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And I'm Earth, Wind, and Jeff.
Bye.
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 Punchboard Media, where we all
bring something
to the table.
Pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.